as well with all these 3 champions, and then you've got your ticket to the late game, which is that Aphelios, and I'm looking at a GoRock and I'm like, I don't know,
any
man.
takers? What role is coming through here quickly? I think we're looking
This
at...
is going to be, I don't know.
Mid lane.
No, this is going to be support.
It's going to be the support you know.
But Ash is going to go support. Oh, that's not a flex pick. That could be a support as well. Game2 has played set early as well. He is a role swap top lane onto the support's position. So this is way more comfort. But there we have it.
You did say that it was everyone picking their
champion. If Knight doesn't swap with Sinmivak, everyone's picked their champion.
I think we will see the Tryndamere going. Actually, no, I'm not even going to put
I think it is going to be mid.
I don't think so. I think it's going to be mid lane because it just makes sense, right? LeBlanc cannot assassinate you when you have that ultimate level 6, and then early on, that Lucian can bully away the Sion. My only problem here is that you're running 3 AD lanes, and fair enough, you've got an Evelynn, but who in the world killed Sion later on?
This is like running into a solo queue game, and your teammates just don't have the champions to trade, so you're actually just picking them in your own position here, and there you have it. It is actually Sinmivak with that Lucian on the top side going into the Sion. I mean, you kind of lose your prowess the later the game goes on, and I think Sion is very happy going into that matchup. I mean, yes, you will get poked out a little bit in the beginning, and yes, Sinmivak have to play, or Ragnar rather, have to play a pick on the back foot, but once you finally hit level 6, there's actually kill pressure on towards the Lucian, especially if the Junks is up there. So interesting dynamics. I'm not going to throw my coins away at which composition I favor just yet, but this game is definitely interesting.
Well, we're going to be jumping right onto the Rift for our second game of the day. The semi-finals of the Amazon European Masters. LDLC take to the blue side. Ago Rogue on the red. Hey, we wanted a question from Ago Rogue. They've given it to us in draft.
So this is going to be, if we look from lane to lane to lane, a very difficult mid lane matchup for Knight, at least at the very start, right? Because the LeBlanc will be very easy to trade into him since it's melee versus ranged, and LeBlanc does hurt a lot, especially with the Electrocute having the Ignite there as well. You've got the kill potential coming through, so Knight is going to suffer a lot pre-6. Post-6, he's still going to suffer a lot, but at least he's going to have his ultimate to not get assassinated in the mid lane. So again, we're running into a scenario where even though Rubble wants to be left alone in his own devices in the jungle to get that level 6 really quickly on the Evelynn, you have an Ica who's going to be shoving in mid, poking down your Tryndamere, and then Yai can very easily enter the jungle together with Ica and find you.
I think for LDLC with this composition, name of the game is just starting this Drake stacking in the early game. Like, you would love if they are forced to suddenly shorten their map pool on the side of a Go Rogue and have to come into a chokehold. They don't have a lot of team fighting tools in their arsenal. They're very much about opening the map on a Go Rogue. They're about playing the side lanes. So if you can stack the objectives in the early game, you can kind of mitigate the win condition that would come through for a Go Rogue.
I think the very funny thing here is that we mentioned who in the world kills the Sion later on? Because Evelynn is not a consistent AP damage dealer. She deals a lot of burst damage, and then she gets back once she has the ultimate to get out of the fight. So I feel like Binsu locking in the Cedric here is like, oh shoot, we have no one to kill the Sion. He's like, I know, I'm just gonna toss him out of the fight every single time, and no one has to deal with him.
I mean, they'll have to deal with him eventually. Because, of course, he has that ultimate, and Sion, as we know throughout this tournament, can be very, very difficult. But Knight, he's going to already have to heal up. Ica going to be continuously making his life miserable.
Yeah, Ica very happy once again under the blind. I think I'm also looking forward to when we get towards that second clear, third clear, maybe even for the junglers, that how are they going to interact with each other? Last time around, we saw Rabble. He was very happy to go in there, counter jungle on the Raptors. On an Evelynn, yes, you're still very happy to get ahead of the curve. You're all about hitting that level 6, but you don't have the same agency that Yike did earlier, or Rabble rather did earlier on the Car 6. Or Viego, I go on rappling for ages, but once again, I still feel like it's in Yike's favor.
Game2's putting some damage down, hit level 2 first, X-Kick has to walk away, Doss will be able to stumble out as well, Cleanse burn though.
And I'm thinking right now, you've got Ashe and you've got the set. Your Evelynn is heading towards the bot side of the map. Could we potentially see shenanigans for the dive? Because the Tribush has already been warded from the side of LDOC, and you have got the cleanse taken away from X-Kick. So the second Rubble will walk into that Tribush. The bot lane from LDOC will know that potentially dive is coming through. They're only level 6, they're only level 2. Rogue's bot lane is level 3.
And Cleanse has already been burned. They're just going to go for this one, I feel like.
Yeah, they're looking for it. Binsu stepping forward, getting the punch. Will be taking up tower. A lot of damage. First blood, Rabble. angle as Road make it work. DOS takes punch, but should be
They
able
can
to...
continue here.
Ooh, I don't know. He's going to be in a lot of trouble here, trying to walk away from the tower, gets the knock up. Lucker actually taking the tower shot. Will have to heal to get away, but it's a double for Evelyn.
So well played right there from Rogue. They don't waste any of their summoners early on. They literally walk them down, knowing they're only level 2, knowing there's no cleanse for Exakick as well. It was so well executed at the end. Laka also tanks the tower as well so well. Puts down that slow, and suddenly that Evelyn that wants to reach level 6 really quickly and be very dangerous has 2 kills bunked up pre-level 4.
Yeah,
pre-mini 4.
This is definitely a coach team, right? You see Rabble skips the Scuttlecrab, he skips the Gromp as well, just walks down there on a setup wave on Grape 3 as well. And as you said, Locker tanking it up, making sure that the frontliners who's closest to the turret, who will have the longest time running away from it, will not be under any danger.
Rabble might be in danger.
Yeah, gonna get knocked up. Yike moving forward with the flash thing. Nice burning down, and that's gonna be a shutdown going over to DOS. Not super fortunate, but Ika needs to be careful. We'll be able to bounce away.
Blubber?
Well, NA Scuttle might be coming through there. DOS looking for Beanso too. Yike.
Ooh, looking to try and get the charm going down, but won't be able to find it, and they're just gonna move back.
A little bit overzealous right there, trying to get the Scuttlecrab for the bot side of the map, because now you're putting your bot side of the map into a lot of danger. There is a wave that's been built up from Exakick as well, and Rogue have to play extremely careful, which means that Brabble cannot go to the other side of his map and start farming his top side.
Here's the return though. Ika had the mid lane priority. He's moving down as well. We might see another dive come through here if they're bold enough for it.
Ika is moving. Anything you can do, I can do better. But LDLC decide against, and will just push in the wave and look potentially for a plate.
But they can allow themselves to do this, right? Ika doesn't lose anything of having downtime like this. He crashed the mid lane wave bounced back, and there you have it. He can still farm up the melee creeps that's coming in.
And I think the most important thing here is that you stop Rubble from farming. You cash in on that shutdown. You stop him from farming. You've seen the Evelyn bot side of the map. You're like, okay, so that means that Rubble moves towards the top side of the map. So we're going to keep him on the bot side and then invade with mid lane prior once Ika is there. And that's exactly what's happening for LDLC.
And Rubble just going to be chased away from his chickens, but he's going to move back forward. Of course, Ika has to push him, so he's going to be able to come in for the support as the smite
Yoink.
comes through.
And this is what I tried to get at, how the junglers interact with each other. In a matchup that's Viego into Evelyn, it is Viego who gets to be the aggressor. Evelyn likes to be on her own side of the map, doesn't have too much agency in her kit, and she kind of has to play defensive until she hits that level 6 spike. This time around, the Rabble, his smite, it's true, and he still retains some of that experience in his own jungle.
And Knight has hit that level 6, so he's got that defensive ultimate. If he wants to burn it through, Ika going to be throwing that one down, and grabs level 6 as well, so he's going to be able to put through so much damage. I'm just a mild little bit worried for the Tryndamere as we move forward.
Yeah, and I think it's all been about Ika and Knight in the mid lane, right? Once you want to facilitate your junglers, you need to have 2 strong mid lanes. And so far, Knight has not had a lot of priority to do so. You see that our XP difference at 15, gold difference at 15 is pretty much the same during this Amazon European Masters. But you go down to the solo kills, and Ika might be coming up ahead there.
Oh yeah, but it's also just the style this brings to the team composition, because yes, the mid laners are great here, but these mid laners are having these stats while not being facilitated, right? These are the individual prowess that we see in the laners. They get these advantages for themselves, and then they use these advantages for their junglers. This has been so reliant for both teams in terms of getting ahead, and this is why this matchup is so interesting as well, because they function the same way despite having very wacky drafts from my Go Rogue. Stylistically, they have the same flourish where it's getting mid-head, and then using that awareness, or not, that lead, rather, on the side of Rappel.
And that's something that I really love, because we look at these Ego Rogue draft, we say, look, they're mad scientists, they go for stuff that's a little bit weird, but you can see the fundamentals that other teams are playing. They can do it just as well in a lot of different situations. For Ego Rogue, that's what's brought them this far in this tournament.
And I feel like a lot of the times for teams, it could also be the win con, it could also be the downside. Look at Bisons, they tried to do the exact same thing. It didn't go so well for them, didn't make it out of groups. Our Go Rogue are doing the same thing a lot more successfully, but LDLC are like, we don't have to fall into the trap. A lot of the times when teams think that they are the better team, they will play the more simple to execute compositions. They will play the compositions that scale better into the late game. They will out-team fight you in the later on stages due to better vision, due to better team fighting macro that they have. And so far, LDLC have come to this tournament. They've not lost a single game. They've won 10, and it's been through that team fighting prowess that they've done so.
Yeah, on that note as well, I was speaking to Fnatic's Barker as well, who obviously have played against Bisons, who is very happy about these wacky drafts. I'm going to hold it as I did hear a Sion ultimate. And Rabble is getting checked by Yike.
Yikes, just going to chase up towards the Evelyn, but it looks like there's a little bit too much time, a little bit too much warning for Ego Rogue as they move away.
Yeah, but to go back to the point, what he essentially was saying is just, well, when you're playing against like team that you can't prepare for, there's no need trying to use your mentality doing it. You can only bring your own strengths to us, your own strong fundamentals, and that's kind of what we're seeing as well from LDLC. They do what they do best, just with their own style.
Now, going to be up towards that Rift Herald, going to be picking it up for LDLC. You've got to imagine, first Herald of the game, and this time, of course, in last game, they didn't manage to pick up the Eye, so it wasn't utilized. Now they can look to try and grab that investment.
Success.
Well, it is, right? And it's not contested this time around, as we can already see from a Go Rogue. They're not about contesting these chokeholds, these teamfight scenarios. They want to just scale ahead on the map, get your items on the side laners, and then open it up, have your bot lane in the mid lane potentially. But the problem is, you need to be at a stage where you open up the mid lane terrain, where you open up these side lanes, and right now you're not really getting any agency to do that. Yes, you had a good dive from the bot lane in the beginning, but much more haven't come out of it yet, and that's what we need to see from a Go Rogue for them to accelerate that point to their own win condition.
And it all comes down to them overextend a lot of the times, right? Like we saw in the previous game as well. Rebel overextends to get the Scuttle Crab. What happens? Yike takes back a lot of the power that was taken away from him from that bot lane dive. He cashes into the shutdown, he takes the kill, they grab the Scuttle Crab as well. So it all goes south. So an Evelyn that should have been ahead in CS, should have been ahead in levels, and should have been ahead in gold due to the double kill as well, is sort of falling even with the Viego. And if you look at the items, they look pretty even to me as well.
Absolutely, and we talked about how this bottom lane might be super crucial in this game, trying to control the choke points around the Dragons. The early objective is actually Ego Rogue, who managed to secure themselves the first one, but it's 9 minutes 50 in, it's pretty late, all things considered.
Also, really quickly, I just wanted to point out at Ragnar's inventory right here, and I'm seeing this being built, and I'm like, this is the easiest frozen heart of his life, and
Sinivac's in a lot of trouble, the Ignite's being burnt low, he's gonna get slowed and taken out. Ika secures the kill, but now Knight's here, using that Ghost, trying to chase down his lane opponent and cut him down to size. Ragnar's there, but he's gonna move towards the sun, but it's tanky enough to slow actually. Knight takes a beating.
I'm going back to my point. You saw how Knight is not doing much damage to the LeBlanc even. Imagine when Frozen Heart comes through. Ooh. When all this attack speed is going to be cut down from the Lucian, from the Tryndamere, from the Ass Rabble.
I don't know if you can take that 1v1. Needs to be careful backing away towards tower. The ultimate comes down, but it's going to be returned as Rabble gets away.
Rift Tower's still in inventory as well if they want to get aggressive here, but it can also just move down towards the bot side. You can see the rotations already coming through. Exa kick, he shifted his pressure from bot side into the mid lane instead, making sure that they're not losing any CS whatsoever. Now resets comes through, DOS on the way down towards the bottom. Maybe can hold the wave, but still, LDLC, they're playing the map very beautifully here.
Yeah, and we'll see this once again right here because Ragnar takes a really aggressive trade onto Sinmivac. He's going to walk in, put down his Ignite, and Ica is just going to finish the deal right there. LeBlanc diving underneath the tower, Ragnar was tanking, and then Knight comes in a little bit too late, doesn't do any damage yet. He only has boots in his inventory, so he's not able to trade the kill. That is one kill for Ica, and we just mentioned how he really likes these kills because he makes them work. The gold percentage he gets with the damage percentage is equal.
Yeah, but look at the Go Rogue on the map as well. This time around, they're stuck around the top side for too long. No one's in the mid lane. No one's down towards the bot side to actually help them here. They still get aggressive.
Well, the cleanse has been used. The charge comes through, but on the back line, the Son Ragnar cuts him down to size as LDLC pick up a kill and a whole bunch of plates.
And that was the point I wanted to get at. Go Rogue, their own tempo was so off here. Ragnar, he managed to recall, come through with the ultimate as well. And just look at the minimap. Knight has just backed on the Tryndamere. Sinmivac was in the mid lane, moves up towards the top side now, and no one's in a position to cover for this bot lane. Essentially, this is already a lost objective, and yes, as you highlight, Trouble, Shelly pushing Beansu into the ultimate of Ragnar. Very beautiful.
That was really well played, actually, from LDLC. And Shelly, well she was in their pockets, right? So ultimately, she's gonna play for them. It's an extra member, absolutely. But I just really like what you highlighted. They were behind the play. Everyone from a Go Rogue were resetting. They use that Rift Out towards the bot side of the map. And Exatic is again ahead. He casts in on the entire tower of turret platings. Rabble!
Doss taking a whole heap of damage, but now Rabble needs to be careful. Yikes, moving forward. It's going to be a 3v3 if Doss wants to get back involved, but Rabble could be cut down to size here. A lot of damage as the dunk comes through from B2. That's a lot onto Yike. The X-Kick will secure the kill. Now members from both teams are moving down from mid lane, want to get involved. Doss being chased through, but look at Lucka. He's looking towards X-Kick. There's a decent amount of damage as Lucka will be coming through. Yike as well, and they cut down to size. Double kill for the Aphelios as Ica needs to be a little bit careful. Beansu's so low. Will be chased back down towards his tower. Ica's going to dive back in, helps get Yike a kill, and now we're going to see Knight moving forward, looking towards Ica, but there's going to be the clone as Yike traps him back in a set. There's the Undying Rage. What can Knight do? He just doesn't have the damage, looking towards Ica, but can't find it. Disaster for Ego Rogue.
and there's just so much mobility that Knight can't connect any of the auto attacks down, and that feels miserable saying, because they're point and click.
And look at that, look at the outplay. DOS taunts Rubble before he can ult. Rubble keeps his ultimate until Yike tries to ult him, but he never does. Rubble tries to ult out because he's low HP. Exeki flashes in, and look on the other side of the map. You have Knight chasing again, but he does no damage, and DOS manages to get out, then Yike is helping Exeki with the remaining member, and because he takes Ash, he then can wrap around to stop Binge from escaping with these arrows, and then when Knight walks in, he gets knocked up right underneath the tower. I feel like the mechanical outplay that came in here from LDLC was otherworldly.
Yike and Iker still pressuring on.
Oh, the awesome exit kick from downtown.
And this team right now, they're just so confident. You look at them, they're feeling themselves. DOS around the back here. Knight still doesn't have the ultimate either, so he needs to back off.
It feels going from bad to worse for Ago Rogue in this matchup. LDLC have been able to move mid lane, and now they're looking towards top.
And especially since we said Go Rogue, it's about getting the laners ahead, about opening the map, but it's LDLC who's punishing on this, and now they can get ahead in the teamfight scenarios around the objective as well. Now with mid lane open up, it allows them to play for these side lanes, and a Go Rogue's composition, this is where it starts to falter. You need to be the one ahead. Now you've fallen behind. Now it's so difficult to retain your own side of the jungle.
I'm just gonna say, what own side of the jungle? Because top lane, top side jungle doesn't belong to you. Bot side jungle was just taken away from you.
That was the jungle I was mentioning.
Every single other objective is being taken away from you, evidently in front of us as well. So that is the first dragon from LDLC. And honestly, it feels like a go next angle for Rogue. They're falling apart in the seams. And you mentioned it, when LDLC feel confident enough to pull off these plays, they're the scariest. And look at the first item from Sion as well. It's going to cut down the damage that's not even there yet.
He's just going to be rooted up. He roots himself up, gets knocked up and taken low. Will be secured by Iker. As Big Ragnar, Tokyo drifting, but can't find Lucka.
And I wonder if you know how they live in Tokyo, but now LDLC.
See what you did there.
LDLC able once again to just shove in the mid lane, gain priority on the side lanes if they want to. And I quickly just want to touch about the point you made there, Trouble. Is it already too late? I kind of agree with you on that sentiment, because you drafted a composition. I want to take it back to what Dacta said as well on the desk. Some of these drafts coming through is something that are so difficult to pilot. Even teams like LPL or teams in the LCK have difficulties trying to properly execute them. And I still feel like if you want to succeed, maybe you have to go back to something of these easy to execute. Maybe you have to go back to something that is front to back, where the fighting will become about the objective, because at least then you'll still have a win conditions once we come to the last soul point, once we come to the Baron and Elder Drake. But with the composition that Go Rogue has right now, it just feels so difficult for them to accelerate their pressure on the map, which is so needed for it to function.
And as we can see, they've started up the second Rift Herald, but DOS trying to solo it, but he's Rakan, so Yike comes in and says, don't worry, buddy. I'll help you out. We'll grab this second objective together. But DOS is like, no, you know what? You didn't help me first time. I'm going to look towards Bean, so you're going to land the knock-up. Iker's there as well. And now Yike's going to be able to join the party, but all to go over the wall, looking towards Sentinel. Won't be able to find him. Teleport coming on through. The ultimate from Ash goes wide. It doesn't hit anyone. As X kick secures first kill of the fight. Now the nice double jump coming through from DOS. The CC is there. The damage is there. LDLC running through the fight. Ragnar playing bouncer. Will jump into the face of the Lucian, taking him out as Rabble is going to try and sneak away. Has to dive forward, looking for DOS, but can't find him. It's heartbreak for Ago Rogue.
And we're only 16 minutes into the game. I was looking, okay, are we getting it buried? No, it's just second Rift Herald. And it's still with this. Mid lane has already been opened up. Ike can look on towards the top side. With this Shelly in hand, they can open up so much more once they finally get their resets through. Once again, they're just stealing the jungle away from a Go Rogue. So they're winning the team fights, they're getting the map control, and they're taking away all the camps. A Go Rogue, they have nothing but scraps on the map, not even scraps.
And you mentioned it, because LDLC are taking everything, the investment time on the Herald is just worth it, because you have nothing else to do on the map for LDLC. But a Go Rogue, once again, they overstep. You possibly know that the second Rift Herald is going down, and they feel like fighting at this point, because you know why? When you have one Mythic versus 1.5, you want to try and take that chance, especially when you have an Evelynn. Maybe an assassination will come through, but it's just not happening. The pain train is also going to come in from Ragnar right there, and I feel like they're just individually outplaying Rogue at this point.
Absolutely, and I mean, the saddest thing about that whole team fight was Knight going forward, auto-attacking the Sion once and realizing this isn't for me, and just sliding away.
But
it's why it's such a pet peeve for me to see Illusion top, and specifically into tanks, because you're like, laning phase, it feels so good. I can just push away this guy. I can be up like 10 to 20 CS maybe. But then you hit a point where you hit level 6 and the first armor item starts coming through. And you're just not a champion anymore. You don't have side lane pressure. I feel like if they wanted to succeed this better, I mean, maybe a Camille would have had to come through from the side of Sinmivac. But still, I think the sentiment of my point is just that this draft is not working for Go Rogue.
Observers, thank you so much. The entire map is lights out for a Go Rogue. And you have an Evelyn. The Evelyn wants to be able to try and flank, get behind your squishy carries, get a quick assassination in, get a quick shutdown in. Everyone has one on the side of LDLC. Maybe some quick gold influx will help with your Evelyn, but it's just not happening. LDLC have marked the entire top quadrant of the jungle from rubble, and they're just playing through it with Shirley.
Sinmivac's in a lot of trouble. Charmed up, knocked up, taken out. Ica secures the kill. The tower might go the same way. Rogue moving in to defend their inhibitor towers 19 minutes in as LDLC move towards their base and may well get the Herald charge on this one as well.
It's just looking so uncomfortable for a Go Rogue. They get picked up on the side lane. Good productivity from DOS, and still Shelly. She might even get a charge at the Nexus turret if no one's stopping her.
Oh, Rubble might.
Oh, they're going to look towards it. Rabble needs to try and get something nice from the Pro Belt to keep their Nexus towers healthy. But now we're going to see Ragnar diving forward, gets the charge, gets the knock-up, and that's going to be Evelyn's trading her life. Knight moving forward, look towards Yike, who is taking up tower. The knock-up will be big as Iga moves forward, gets the assassination, tries to get away, dunked down towards Yike, who stays alive, and now Game2 needs to run. Sinmivac opening up the culling, has respawned, but it's looking towards Ragnar, who doesn't take that much damage. The heal from DOS keeps him alive, and now they're going to move forward. They're continuing the pressure.
They just can't die. They're just sitting in base with 1% HP and they just can't die. But LDLC does not get overconfident right here. And it's very important because you mentioned that every single member except DOS has a shutdown on them. We've seen these comebacks happen, especially in the LEC as well. And LDLC will play it more slow. But right here, Rubble would charge his Rocket Bell to take down the Shelly to just stop the siege.
I don't know, Trouble. They look pretty overconfident to me, okay? I just feel like they're not getting punished for it this time around because they are diving turrets 19 minutes into the game. They're moving forward to the objective source. Look at Ragnar. He sat there emote spamming. If this is not overconfident, I'm not sure what is. But LDLC, they are leaving their mark in this series so far, specifically in this second game, looking even better than the first.
Ragnar, where are you going, buddy?
There.
What was the...
There.
Was there a plan behind that one?
Yeah, it's like I don't have teleport. How am I going to get there quickly? It's the Arbad.
Right. Well, we're going to move towards Dragon because we've got LDLC just thinking about that one.
I don't think Agora will walk in anyway, so he's not going to get his ultimate anytime soon.
I mean, do they need the side ultimate at this point is the real question. He can just use it for mobility because he's not going to need it to stay alive or to get big engages going down, pushing towards this mid lane tower, wanting to grab even more territory.
And the LFL dominance just continues. The last seed of Ultra Liga, Go Rogue here, not even looking competitive in this game.
Ica's in trouble though. Rabble gets a decent amount of damage down. The shutdown from Evelyn, the start of the comeback.
And just as I started saying they're not looking competitive, Rabble shuts me down immediately.
Keep casting it. Keep casting it.
Yeah, LDLC, you're just looking too good right now. There's no way a Go Rogue gets back into this game.
Nah, that's me, buddy. I do this and it works.
Well, you did the monologue and look what you did.
They're the underdog here, GoBok. They're the underdog.
Fnatic was the underdog against top esports too.
Oof. Oh, while they have a fight to my right, we're going to see the Dragon start up. LDLC going to be able to grab this one. Don't think there's going to be a contest around here. They managed to get a pick, but Ego Rogue still not really in this game. The gold lead is massive. The itemization is huge from LDLC. And it looks so difficult for the Ultra Liga.
I just don't understand where your damage is going to come from if you are a Go Rogue. We mentioned once the Frozen Heart comes through from Ragnar, you've got 3 auto-attack champions. 3 champions that want to auto-attack. You cut down their attack speed, they can't do ish to you if you're the Scion. And it's not just the Scion, it's like the aura around him. They can't touch anyone else either. And so far, I'm scratching my head here. I'm sitting here, I'm like, what does this Ashe do, actually, in this entire series? Because I have not seen anything.
Well, did you see when there were no vision in that jungle? She were able to fly birds in there, and then they could see that all the camps were gone.
I think Yike put that Ashe into better use than Laka has so far.
I mean, I'm not going to say you're wrong, but it's definitely a very outrageous statement at the same time. Ica now playing on 2 lanes again with LDLC, pushing in the mid lane, the rest of them pushing down towards the bottom side, and they're not even doing this with Baron Bot, but they're just so far ahead that they can allow themselves to do this. The sieging, so difficult. Ragnar has teleport as well, can deploy it on a minion if he wants to, and yeah, there you have it.
Going to be pushing forward towards this bot lane tower, want to break open the base even further as Ragnar moving forward, looking towards Beansu, but of course Ragnar, he may be very strong, but he's also a projectile if Beansu can get the right ultimate down as the culling comes through. Just keep members away. Ica on the side though, looking towards Gravel, going to be caught out ulting into his own base, but follow through from Yike who secures the kill, and now Ago Rogue in full retreat. They're forced back towards their towers. Beansu jumps on and taken out. Double kill for Yike as he's going to take another body. Now they can look back towards the inhibitors.
And just like that, they continue the siege, can move down towards the mid lane if they want to afterwards, but once again LDLC, they're looking for an end on a wave here.
Just going to keep pressuring forward. There's members defending from Ago Rogue as we might see the end of the game. The dive forward onto the Tryndamere. Knight's going to have to go and die and chasing members of LDLC away, but he just does nothing. LDLC take the first Nexus tower, but it doesn't look like they're pushing for more.
And this is just partial burst sieging as well. They can move on to the mid lane now and then try and take care of the inhibitor.
And look at the waves, they're pushing everywhere. Top lane wave is pushing in, mid lane wave is gonna crash as well. Bot lane wave is crashing in. That is the last chance for a Go Rogue.
They're going to try and dunk Sion back. It's only going to land on the toss, and it doesn't do very much. The final fight could well be here. Ragnar chase back, goes low, but survives. Ago Rogue are trying to defend, but they're losing members as Yike moves forward. Another kill for Godlike. They lose Lucian as well as Lucca is chased away. The minion wave stop crashing through as LDLC can continue their undefeated streak.
Yeah, next one coming through here. We have Lucca trying to do what he can, but it's just not enough. They're playing with the food at this point. LDLC relentless once again from the LFL.
It looks like we could be set up for an all-LFL final if it continues going like this. LDLC will remain undefeated 11-0 here at the Amazon European Masters as they look to take down the Nexus. Ragnar doesn't want to be in the final picture as the Nexus explodes.
Holy. That's all I'm gonna say, because this game, first game you could say was competitive.